Hi, I'm Tash.
Hey, and I'm Nix.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, glad to see you guys again.
Thanksgiving week.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you do for Thanksgiving, Nicole?
Ooh. Thanksgiving was rough this year because we actually did pay attention to COVID guidelines, and I chose not to travel. Stayed at home with my kids, and I prepared a wonderful Thanksgiving meal. Actually, honestly, my Thanksgiving meal was trash. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was good. I did really well, but I was when I was tasting some of the flavors, I could have flavored it up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What about you?
I decided not to travel either. This is my first Thanksgiving without family, so that was pretty rough. In my 29 years, I've never had Thanksgiving without family. So
Yeah.
I just went to our friend Ty's place, hung out with her, and it was cool. Dinner was she cooked well. I don't cook well. I got that pre-cooked turkey from HEB, heated up in the oven, and I was exhausted because I don't cook anything.
Really, Tasha?
I usually bring wine.
How long did it take you to heat up?
It took a good 2 hours, actually.
Oh my goodness.
And then I had to make stuffing. Granted, I just had to add water, but still. And I made some mac and cheese. That was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Remember when I made that for our little steak?
Oh yeah.
That was actually pretty good. But
we would literally come. I would come. So Tasha lives in Houston, and I come down and visit. I want to move here actually, and we would have food night, or I would come and cook because I love to cook. I grew up cooking in my family's restaurant, so I just love cooking. But this year I was tired. I don't know. I woke up at 6 to start the turkey, and I was just tired. By the time we ate, 6 a.m. Sis, it was no fun. But yeah, but my kids helped me. Aiden helped me make macaroni, and Kamai, he helped me make the corn. And then we all
sounds like me.
We all made cookies together.
Yeah.
Because I really wasn't trying to bake. I was I already did all this. I'm not trying to bake. It's only us. And then we had one addition come this year. The kids got to meet who I'm dating, and that was it went really well.
How did that go?
Yeah. It went well. I was actually terrified, but he got along so well with them, and I don't know if it's because he's childish, but no, he got along really well with them. So it was a big moment for me because this is the first person ever to meet my kids. So yeah, it was very big for me. So yeah,
that's good. My friend, she made some bomb ass cheesecake. I asked her to make dessert. It was so good. She made some baked mac and cheese. She threw down.
She cooks too. Yeah, I watch her sometimes on I always watch her Instagrams and stuff, but I've seen her sometimes cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And she can cook.
She threw down. So what are you thankful for?
I think so far that we're getting through this year.
This year is hard to answer that question.
I'm grateful that we're getting through this year because we're all healthy. I'm thankful for we have both come across obstacles this year that we've had to overcome, either with health situations or whatever, and it's just kind of scary, or loss of loved ones. We both, when I think about that, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm very thankful that I'm alive, and that in this current economy I have a job. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for that.
No, this has been a crazy year, and I think probably ironically this is the year where I've been the most thankful.
Yeah.
So many people have lost their jobs and everything like that. I mean, we went from COVID to Black Lives Matter and all of that, back to COVID. And like you said, our own personal issues, your mom, her health, me losing my dad this year. So it's just been a lot. So I've just been thankful to make it through this year just sane.
Yeah.
And then it was not being with family on Thanksgiving. That was a little bit emotional because I'm really close to my family. So usually we're always together during the holidays.
They have the most lit Thanksgivings. I went to a Thanksgiving at Tash IG's. This was a few years ago after my I was separated at the time technically, and it was my first time not being around. I don't have family here in Texas, and it was my first time really being alone for Thanksgiving, and I didn't know what to do. And she's like, "Oh, come to my aunt's house." Oh my God, it was lit. Our grandma's like, "Have you been to the bar downstairs?" What?
We're no, but let us.
Yeah, we're on our way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good time. It was one of my best memories. Especially after, it meant a lot because I was alone. It was rough. Yeah, it was fun though.
There's nothing like Thanksgiving with family for sure. Nothing tops that.
And it's good to go to a good family. You know what I mean? Like, your family was so nice and inviting and welcoming. Like, they had mimosas on deck. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you walk in the door, like...
Clearly, you see this with my idea.
Yeah. Have you ever been to, like, well, maybe not you, because I know you're dating... I would say that to me, you're newer to dating. Like, I think we're on the same boat because I was married for so long, got a divorce, but I was with one person and didn't really date much before that. And so I'm in this world where I don't understand anything going on. And you kind of waited for a while to even get into your first serious relationship. So we're kind of on the same fucked up playing field right now. Yeah. But... have you ever been to someone's like house, like invited to like a family function or whatever, and you go there and the family treats you like shit? Like, you know?
No, I've only been to one like wedding with a guy, and his family was really nice. And like, it didn't even work out with that guy, but his family was cool.
See, that's great, because I know people who are in marriages and they have to go to like the in-laws' house, and it's terrible. Like, they hate going there, and it's like, I've had that happen where people kind of just judge you for no reason, and I do not want to be a part of a judgmental family, because when you come to my family, you know, my family is crazy, but they are fun, and they will embrace you, and they just want you to have a good time, you know. So I won't do families like that.
I'm the type to just embrace anybody, so whenever I like say I want to bring somebody for Thanksgiving or whatever holiday, like, they're never not fine with that. Like, they're opening to everybody.
Have you had a date, like a guy like you were dating, come to a family thing?
No, only my last like boyfriend. He came to like my family birthday dinner, and he had met my dad and my grandma, and that was pretty much it.
That was the first guy?
Yeah, not to like Thanksgiving dinner or anything like that.
We should jump him.
I really should. I'll get his address.
I don't like him.
Yeah, we've been on many dates, and a couple of them have been a hell date. Right?
We've had the worst dates ever. Like, we're going to talk about hell dates in a second, because they're really hilarious, to be honest with you. And not only that, it's just like both of us have different, like, our dating lives should be on TV because they're so trash. But yeah, like, I can tell you an example of one of my hell dates. Like, I remember I went out with, I call him millennial guy. So we met up at this bar, and he was like, we sit down, and he was older than me, but at that point I was like, I want to date older guys, you know. And he was, I think he was in his 40s. I think he was in his early 40s. And I think they're Generation X. I could be wrong. I'm not sure, but whatever. And he kept talking about how I was a millennial. And I was like, okay, like, didn't you know my age before we fucking met up? You know what I mean? And he was like, oh, you know, you millennials this and you millennials that. And it's always, you know, this. I'm like, I don't know if you're talking about like us or like the generation after us, you know? I was like, because the millennials.
And why are you so angry about it?
I was like, the millennials are known for causing change. You know what I mean? Like, we create change. We grew up with like technology, and you know, we are literally what is shaping this world currently. My mouth is really juicy right now. I don't know why. Juicy. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so I just remember thinking like, okay, he kind of like berated me and millennials, and I'm just sitting here like, okay, this is irritating. But I noticed he kept drinking, and so I was just like, okay, I don't know if he's okay. But I only had one drink, and I was just like, I'm good, you know. So I know how to act. Okay, millennials know how to act on dates, I guess. And so then I was gonna go because I didn't know how the date was gonna go, so I planned up on meeting up with a friend at like this little area down, like these bars, and I could tell he kind of wanted to go, so I was like, do you want to come with me? And he's like, yeah, I want to go. I was like, okay. I was like, we'll just meet there. So I told him we were gonna go. We meet up, we get to the bar, and he is drinking like back to back heavily, and I have a drink minimum. Like I'm like, normally if I'm at 4 drinks, I'm done. I cannot drink anymore. Like I can't. It's going to be a mess.
I shouldn't have a drink.
I do. Maybe it's a control thing. I don't know, but I have a drink minimum because I cannot, you know. And this man was like trying to still, and he was buying my friend drinks too. And I was just like, that's cool, but like, I was like, I think you should probably like not drink anymore. This man was like, no, don't tell me what to do. I was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? So I just backed off. I was like, whatever. Do you know? He was stumbling, couldn't even walk. I take him outside, and I'm like, yo, you are literally like drunk. And so he's on the ground, literally like behind the building on the ground, throwing up. He's like, I'm a Marine, like punching himself in the chest. And I'm like, what the fuck do I do? And like, one of my friends, the friend that was with me, she was recording me secretly from behind, and I was just standing there like looking at him. It was so bad, and I felt bad because I'm like, you're a black man, you're drunk as hell, you're in the middle of on the ground. Like, I'm like, you need to get up. I'm like, let me take you home. No, you're not taking me home. I'm a Marine. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? And like, I tried for an hour to either Uber him home, take him home. He would not do it, so I just left him. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go now. So that was one of my hell days. Yeah.
Dang.
It was really cool. It wasn't. I have video footage of that, but it's for another time. What about you?
That's definitely a hell date. So, one time I met this guy like on a dating app. We left the dating app and we were just texting or whatever, and he was, wanting to like go out or whatever, and I was like, okay, cool. He wants to go on a date. So he had like texted me this place where he like really wanted to take me. We get there, and I guess I find out that he Ubered to the date. He didn't have a car because he said he had gotten in like a wreck or something like a month prior. Okay, no big deal. Those type of things happen. Yeah, didn't sound like anything like alarming. We get upstairs, we sit down at the restaurant, and he's like, yeah, like, by the way, I'm broke.
Wait, bitch. Yeah. He waited till y'all got there?
He chose this restaurant too. And knowing that and it was like a nice kind of more upscale restaurant. I'm like, why would you choose this place
on purpose
if you knew you were broke? And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's like, I can I can get us like a drink, as in like literally one drink.
What?
And I was like, okay. I was hungry. So bitch, I went ahead and ordered me some food. Ate right in front of him. Got the medium rare steak with the loaded baked potato on the side.
Did you cut it all neatly?
I wasn't about to be hungry. He sat across from me drinking the water. It was so awkward.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
What? Tashay, what?
Yeah.
You didn't even offer to buy him like a cracker?
Absolutely. I think he thought like I was going to be like, oh, I got you this time. I'm like, I know you fucking lying. There ain't no way. On a first date,
he's out of line.
And you show up like that and like you don't let me know like before.
You should have said that ahead of time.
Yeah, you should have said that ahead of time.
As a woman, I do not go on a date without my wallet, period. Because you never know how it's going to end. You never know if you have to go Dutch, if the person is trash, and you're like, I'm going to pay for myself, Yeah. But he absolutely, like in my opinion, he knew what he was doing.
No, it gets worse.
What? Oh, what?
The more we talk, I find out that he doesn't have a place to stay. He's like couch surfing on at his friend's place. Basically, he don't have a place to stay. He doesn't have a car. So after we leave the date, and he had this weird ass voice. That's off topic, but on top of everything that could go wrong, he also had like this like squeaky ass voice, and like the whole night was just like random and weird. So the next day, he's like texting me, and he was like, I swear, like, just let me get my stuff together, and I swear I'm gonna like wine and dine you. And back then, I was stupid. So I was one of those people that was like, oh, I see his potential. Yeah, not today, but back then I was like one of those type of people. So I was like, okay. But then like the final straw came when he messaged me from Facebook because he didn't have a phone anymore because he couldn't pay to have the phone, so his phone got shut off. So he messaged me from Facebook, from his friend's like computer. He was like, hey, I ain't got a phone right now. It'll be back on Friday. I'm like, damn, he's going through it. Like, why go on a date if like you need to get your life together that much? Like, it's fine if you need to get your life together, but like, why are you out on dates? This isn't where you need to be right now. You need to be like working on yourself, getting yourself together. Yeah. So the final straw is he was messaging me and he was like, I work like really close to you, and I was wondering if like I could just like stay with you for a while because it's really close to my job. And I was like, absolutely the fuck not. He had the audacity to get mad at me for saying no, and girl, he cussed me out on Facebook Messenger.
Are you kidding? I did not hear this story.
He was like, what the fuck? He was like, you wouldn't let me stay with you for just a couple of days? Like, I don't fucking understand. Like, I'm like,
the audacity.
I thought somebody without a home said something. Because what? He was so mad at me for denying a stranger the right to stay in my home. Like, because I just want to wake up with like my TV missing and stuff.
You will get robbed, bitch. Like,
that's like the worst date.
Oh my God, that is horrible.
Yeah.
But it kept going. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Should have cut it off at the
I should have cut it off
date.
then, but like I said back then, I was stupid.
No, I mean, that's not a bad thing. You know, like, you know, I do think that it is, you know, men, I thought about it like later on, like, wow, men do really have to like foot the bill a lot, you know, on dates, etc. But at the same time, in that instance, like, no, he should have at least had enough money for himself. If he was like, hey, I'm really kind of broke, I can really only afford, you know, maybe to buy my food, but, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
But then also he should have discussed that prior to the date happening, because you don't just spring that on a person. Like, my biggest fear in life is someone being like, oh, I left my wallet. Like, oh, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, you might have to wash dishes or something. I don't.
And he chose the place. So I'm like, if you know you can only afford like Chili's this time around, then let's go to Chili's. Correct. I would have been completely fine with that.
Correct.
On a first date.
Like, and you don't even have to spend money on a first date. Like, he could have done anything else. Like, there's so much to do. We could go on a walk, or we could have.
Let's go to the park. I'll get like a bottle of wine. We can just like talk. Like, do something in your budget,
but don't take me to a restaurant and then be like, I don't have the money. And also I need to sleep on your couch.
Like, and they don't try to live off of me.
Crazy.
After the date. That's weird.
That's trash. But
do you have any more you can think of?
I feel like I'm gonna save my worst for last. So I had this guy who I met, and he was really cool. We actually had gone on a few dates, 3 dates to be exact. And this was before COVID. This was last year. I think it was like last summerish kind of. And he was really cool. Like, I know he had like a really big weight loss journey, and you know, I'm not really the type. I don't have a type in terms of body. Like, to me, it's like I'm only 5'5". I mean, I know I look tall or whatever, but I'm only 5'5", and I feel like I don't care about the height as long as you're like taller than me, you know.
Right.
But I don't care about body because, you know, I'm kind of thick or whatever. So, so I feel like it doesn't matter to me, you know, like what they look like. But so to him, I was like, that's cool, you know, you like, and I was proud of his weight loss. So I was like, I'm gonna give him a chance. So we went on like 3 dates, and they were really good. And then he wanted to do another date, but he was like, would you be interested in coming into my house? And I was like, I didn't know what to do, because I'm like, well, we've been on a few dates before. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll just let my guard down and just go over to his place. My job was to get the pizza, and I think he was going to get the wine, or vice versa. I can't remember which one. But I was like, yeah. And then we were going to watch the new Kevin Hart special. That was like, I think it was already out before, but we watched it. It was like last year. So I go over there. It's really cool. We're like eating and watching the television. We ate salad and stuff first, and then we sat down. And then like he had like this diffuser, and I remember it kept, whatever it was made me had a reaction to it. Like I was like tearing up. It was weird, right? Should have known then someone was going left. But so then I was about to get up and leave, and he's like, well, let me massage your feet. And I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, fine. So he's massaging my feet, and I was like, all right, I really have to get going. So I got up and I started to like, you know, put my get my coat and stuff. And he was like, or actually, I didn't have a coat. I was getting my shoes on. And he's like, wait, no. He's like, please just stay for like 30 more minutes. And he kept like trying to like hug me and stuff. And I was like, I literally had to like stiff arm him. Like, like I was a goddamn quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, I had to stiff arm this guy because I'm like, what the hell, you know? And I was still trying to be nice about it, but I was like, what the hell? I was like, no, like stop touching me. You know what I mean? Like, touch. Like. I was so confused.
You did the Matrix?
I did. I basically was Sierra. Because I was confused. Like, why are you touching me? I told you to stop, you know? And so then I started getting uncomfortable. Because after I tell you, I feel like I shouldn't have to, I hate putting myself in uncomfortable situations. Like, I shouldn't have to tell you more than once to stop touching me. You know what I mean? Like, it just, like I said, he just kept pulling on me and stuff. And that's why I was just like, okay. I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to go. I already stayed a little bit longer. I'm going to go home. He's like, all right, well, I'll walk you down. So like he's walking me down to the car. And I was like, I hope he does not try to give me a kiss. It was like dreadful. And he did. He like tried to force it on me, like force the kiss. And I was just like, and I was just like,
he grabbed the back of your head,
girl. Yes, trying to give me. I was like, oh my god, like it was so bad. And so after that, I didn't even like ghost him necessarily. I couldn't, you know. And then he kept asking me like, what's going on? You're not talking to me. And I just told him, like, I was honest with him, like, you made me feel very uncomfortable, and you put me in a situation where I felt like I had to keep telling you no. And I feel like if I tell you no more than one time, then it's a problem. You know what I mean? So like I had to exit stage left. I'm sorry. I got to keep it moving. And I guess he like talked it over with like his sister, I believe. And I mean, he was, like I said, he wasn't a bad guy. Like he was kind of like a nerdy tech, like a tech guy, you know what I mean? And I could tell like I don't think he meant to. I think he just didn't know what to do with himself. You know, like how like a nerdy guy like gets hot, you know what I'm saying? And then like they don't know what to do. I don't know, but I don't know. I just remember like, it just made me feel so uncomfortable. So I was like, I'm sorry.
That sounds uncomfortable.
Mm.
Wow.
Do you have any other ones? Any examples?
So another one that I can think of. Okay, so the date really wasn't like a hell date, but it led into hell after, like really fast after the date. We went out, we went to like Prospect, smoked hookah and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was cool, but then like the next morning, he was texting me at like 6 a.m. I guess he was up for work. I was up for work too. And I was getting ready to go to work, so I wasn't like texting back fast.
Yeah.
And so he had texted me something, and I didn't answer back, I guess, quick enough for his standards. And so he texted me again, and he was like, you know what, if you just ain't got time, just let me know. Like, if you're not able to communicate.
Oh.
I'm like, what? I was like, can I, like, brush my teeth real quick? It was so bizarre.
So had eye assist, like, he needs to calm down.
And I was like, first of all, I know how to communicate, and I'll text you back when I'm able to. And I also don't feel like I should be explaining myself to you after knowing you for, like, 48 hours.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever. So,
red flag.
That was really a red flag. I let it go, though. Again, back then I was stupid. So I should have cut him off then, but instead I gave him another chance. Like, I'm that person that gives people too many chances, like, just in life in general.
Yeah.
So
I'm not.
I gave it another chance. And I think I was going to Austin to like hang out with you. Mm-hmm. And I want to say, for some reason, it felt like Chastity was here at that time. Maybe not. But I think I was just going to Austin to hang out with you or whatever. And he was texting me then. And again, he was like mad that I wasn't texting him back fast enough. And it was just like real controlling too soon.
Yeah.
And I mentioned like on our first date that I plan on going to like Vegas for my birthday. And he was like, oh, I'm going to get a ticket and come too. Like, what? You're not my man? And this is a girl's trip? And how you just going to invite yourself to Vegas with somebody you just met?
No.
And he was like, oh, it's no big deal. He was like, well, by that time, we would have been talking for like this amount of days. And I'm like, I don't know if I would even like you still then.
Yeah. No.
And judging by right now, probably not. So it was just like he was mad over the fact that like I didn't want to invite him on my birthday trip to Vegas.
No. That's
and so he was texting me crazy. So on my way to Austin, I wasn't even texting him back. Like at that point I was done. I was just ignoring him. And he kept like double texting me. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. He was like, did you make it to Austin? I was like, I didn't text him back. He was like, hey, did you make it? I just want to make sure you're safe. I didn't text him back. I was like, he's a fucking psycho. He was like, well, I guess seeing that you're not going to reply to me anymore. Oh, thanks, Einstein. Should have figured that out like 5 texts ago.
Seriously.
He's like, so I'll just leave you alone. And then next morning, he's going to text me good morning. Like, people are crazy.
Like, what?
Like, it was so crazy. Like,
no.
Yeah, I never talked to him again after that because it was so bizarre.
I'm sure he's
like,
beating his new wife. You know what I mean?
like a psychopath.
No.
Yeah, that was a hell experience as a whole. Not just
I can't. Like, controlling guys are the worst. Like, as soon as you see the red flag, it's like, okay, let's. But I seen this meme talking about like red flags be looking like Six Flags when you like somebody. I'm like, it really do. But no, for real, like I've definitely ignored red flags and I should have known better and I just kept going because they were just so much fun, you know?
Like, don't try to check me about when I'm texting you back.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Calm down. But yeah.
No. That's something like if you're in a relationship and your man hasn't or your significant other hasn't responded to you after a certain amount of time, then yes, excuse me. Like, are you dead?
Yeah. And like hours, like not 30 minutes.
No.
Like I do stuff during the day.
He had to check insecurities. That's something that happened prior to meeting you and knowing you that he needs to get together before he moves forward. Like it's just no.
Like, have you ever tried therapy, sir? It might be good for you.
Yeah, I think my last example of a hell dater, you know, I remember I call him flirty guy. I've never experienced this in my life. So he and I were going to go on a date. We're supposed to go on a date. Prior to the date happening, he was going to pick me up, but he was like, hey, because I don't let people come to my home. Like if anyone, I've only let a handful of people like pick me up from my actual home, and I don't actually give them, like I live in an apartment now, I don't give them my apartment number. I'll just give them like a building, or I'll meet them in the, like where the leasing office is or something. And that's only like if they insist, you know? So anyways, I was like, hey, you can pick me up, whatever. And so he was like, what did he do? Oh, he's like, oh, well, before he called me and he's like, hey, just FYI, my homeboy's in town and he's having a party, and I was going to stop by for a little bit and drop off a present to him, and then we can go on our date. And I was like, why not? You know, I wasn't really dressed up. I was like, I looked cute, but I really wasn't dressed up because I was expecting only to meet one person, you know? And so I was like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I made sure I was cute, but I didn't have heels on, you know, whatever. And so he gets me, we go to, I guess the person was having like the pre-turn up in their hotel, and it was like a really nice hotel too. And so we get there, we're waiting, and him and his friend, like the friend comes down on the elevator because he has to let everybody up to his room, and his cousin meets us outside of the lobby as well, and we're all just waiting. And like they speak a different language because they were African. And
wait, disclaimer. We love the African community.
We do. We really do. But
we just haven't had very good experiences with the men.
And it's not even just us. It's like, this is a phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? Like I've heard of something called Yoruba demons. Have you heard of that?
No.
I don't know if I'm saying Yoruba right, or is it Yoruba? But girl, they're charming, handsome, didn't just tear your heart apart. So they get down, and like I'm standing there, and the guy, the friend comes out. He's like, "Oh shit!" Like they're all looking at me, and they're like slapping five, and I'm like, "What?" I was just like, and then speaking in their language, and I'm just like, I have an ear for language a little bit, so I could kind of tell us certain things, and I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, what the hell? So we go upstairs, and first I was thinking like, oh my God, did I get myself in a situation? Like,
right.
is it gangbang time? Like, what's happening here? And so we go upstairs, and there's like a group of people, and I'm like, there better be other women. So there was 2 other women at the time. One actually I'm still friends with to this day on Instagram, and she was a really beautiful girl. She was a really dark skinned queen, you know what I'm saying? She was thick, thick as fuck. I was like, okay, wait a minute, like I could use her booty for a pillow. She was thick. So we were sitting there talking, and she was talking about the guy she was dating, which was the guy that came downstairs and slapped 5. It was his birthday, and she was like over it. She's like, this motherfucker, like he is always flirting with people in front of me, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I'm so sick of it. And I'm just in here like, why are you with him, sis? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you deal with this, you know? And the whole time she's talking, I wasn't aware that this was going to be a preview of what I was going to go through that evening. So yeah. So I'm sitting there. The guy comes over. He like would check on me every now and then, but the truth is like, he kind of just left me to on my own. And I'm pretty good wherever I go, you know, but it's like, you brought me here. I don't know anybody here, you know, they're drinking. You drove me here, and he's getting slammed, and I'm sitting here like, he goes, hey babe, are you good? I'm like, you drove me here, and I don't know if you're okay, you know what I mean? And so he was like, I'm good, don't worry, we're gonna leave in a little bit. We'd already been there for about an hour at this point. So they're like, all right guys, we're going to the rooftop party. So they rented out some rooftop party. I mean, it's lit. It was extra. And so I was like, oh, I guess. And so the girl was like, please don't, because I already planned on making my exit because I was irritated. Because while we were there was another girl that had came in, and he was flirting with her. Like it was very clear. And a lot of the guys were flirting with her. She was a cute girl, you know. And I'm not like a hater, and I don't like, initially she's a cute girl, whatever. I mean, her wig was a little, whatever, but she was cute. And so, but we didn't talk to her initially because I know the other girl was also mad because her man was talking, flirting with her. And I did see the guy that brought me and her go to like the bathroom area, and I'm sitting, girl. So I'm like, I'm definitely leaving. Yes, I'm like, I'm definitely leaving.
Know what goes down.
She's like, please don't leave me, please. And I'm just like, bitch, I just met you, but okay,
right.
So he goes, all right, we're all going to the rooftop, right? And so then my date comes back out. He's like, you're on the rooftop? I was like, I guess so. You know what I mean? I'm like, who's driving? Because you're clearly wasted.
Right.
We get in the car. Or we go downstairs. He forgot his keys upstairs. The guy who had the key card to get into the hotel has already gone to the party. So we can't go back upstairs to go get his keys. So I'm like, well, I'm definitely getting Uber home at this point. So we get to the place, and the girl that he was flirting with, by the way, gets in the car with me. So she gets in the back seat with me, and we're back there driving, and she's like, oh, I didn't get to meet you. What was your name? And I'm like, oh, my name's Nicole, and we're just talking. And so she's like, we had to, when we got to the place, there was like a downstairs area, and we had to use the bathroom because we'd been drinking a little bit, but not like them. Like I think I only had like 2 drinks at that point, but I was still feeling it a little bit. So she goes, she's like, oh, let's go to the bathroom. Hey guys, we're going to the bathroom real quick. So she pulls me to the side and she's like, listen, she's like, I did not know that you came with this guy. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, what do you have to be sorry about? She's like, I wasn't aware until he like asked for my number. And I was like, he asked for your number? And she's like, yeah. And again, this is our first date, which I can't really be like, okay, whatever. I'm like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, you can. Like, don't.
You can, true.
But I'm like, first date, you'll be doing that.
Correct. You don't do that. And so I was just sitting here like, oh, she's like, I just thought it was really disrespectful. And she's like, I didn't realize it until after I came back out and I saw him like come next to you and sit next to you and talk to you that you guys came together. And I was like, it's cool. I don't blame the woman. That's what I should have said.
Yeah.
I don't blame her because she had nothing to do with this.
He's like, disrespectful as fuck.
She's like, she told me, she's like, she had the cutest accent. She was from, I think she was from South Africa. She had the cutest accent, but she was like, yeah, I'm so sorry. And she's like, I told him no, but okay. I don't know if that's true or not. It doesn't matter to me because by the time we got upstairs to the rooftop, the penthouse or whatever the hell it was up there, girl, the party was different because there was women in like bikinis at the party. I was so confused, like, what kind of party is this? Like, and my date was talking to the bikini girls and like clearly getting their numbers. Like, and I was sitting here like, this is some bullshit. Like,
that's crazy.
So I go sit down by the girl who asked me who begged me to come. I give her a hug. I said, hey, I'm about to go. I'm like, I'm gonna get an Uber and I'm getting the fuck out of here. And so she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go. So I get up to go walk out and the guy spots me. He's like, hey, where you going? I'm like, I have facial expressions, but he knew. I gave him a look of death. I was like, I'm going home. I'm getting an Uber and I'm fucking leaving. He's like, why? I was like, do you think that this is okay that you're sitting here flirting with other women clearly in front of my face and then you're also like getting numbers in front of my, like, what do you think? He's like, I wasn't getting their number. They were asking me about my social media. I was like, okay. I was like, listen, I don't really argue in public, so I'm just going to go ahead and head on out. He's like, well, I'm going to walk you. I'm responsible for you. I'm like, you're correct. You are responsible for me, and you're drunk. So I'm going to get myself home. So we walk downstairs. We're by the doorman's kind of looking at us kind of weird because he clearly sensed some tension. That at this point there was other people that were in the party that were coming into the hotel and they saw us standing outside. They're like, hey, where y'all going? He's like, she's going home. She's not feeling too well. I was like, I'm not feeling too well. I was like, no, I'm feeling actually just fine. I'm just gonna leave. And he goes, what is your problem? He's like, I told you I wasn't getting their number. So I said, well, the other girl came to me and specifically told me that you asked for her number. She apologized to me, all that stuff. He's like, what? He's like, hell no. That bitch, she trying to fuck it up. So you won't believe a stranger over me?
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
You a stranger too at this point.
Correct. I was like, yes, I am. And then he goes, no, fuck that. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to kick her ass out of the party right fucking now. Like, literally at this point.
Okay, he's guilty,
correct.
Clearly.
He was screaming at the top of his lungs and I'm just sitting here like, I said, listen, I don't argue with people in public. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get my Uber and I hope you have a good night. Like, I was so mad. And then like the concierge, is everything okay over here? I'm like, oh, everything's great.
Right.
I'm just going to be leaving. Like it was the literal date from hell, but it gets worse. Okay. So after I leave the guy, my phone's about to die at this point. I'm trying to get an Uber. The Uber driver does not speak English, and he doesn't speak Spanish, either. So I'm like, okay, I'm thinking hopefully he speaks Spanish. So I start speaking in Spanish. He doesn't speak Spanish either. So I'm like, shit. He can't find me. I'm frazzled, okay? This guy walks up to me. He's like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just like, I'm frazzled right now. I'm trying to get my Uber. My Uber driver can't find me, and I just really need to get out of here. He's like, oh, is everything okay with your boyfriend? I'm like, he's not my boyfriend. It's just a guy I just dated. And this is our first date. I'm going home. He's like, well, do you think I can get your number? And I was like, no. I was like, how old are you?
What?
And he was like, I think he said 20, I think he said 28 or something like that. I was like, baby. I act like I'm like somebody's 50-year-old grandma. But I'm like, listen, I'm not in the mood. He's like, well, can I have your social media? I was like, no. He's like, can I just please have your number? And I'm like, okay, fine. At this point, I don't know why I did it, but I knew that there was nothing but chaos and craziness at that time, and that was the energy that was around, so I should have fucking known better than give him my number. Gave him my number. I went home, finally got to get home. I lay down. This guy texted me no more than like 7 times. I was so tired I passed out. I woke up in the morning to missed calls, missed texts. He was like, you know what, bitch? You know what, bitch? That's what you get. That's why you're single right now. Like, bitches like you don't want to give a good man a chance. Oh my God.
What?
I was like, I was asleep, first of all, okay? Secondly, I just met you last night in the midst of chaos. I was like, lastly, please lose my number. What? It gets worse. He then starts to create fake numbers to contact me on. Literally, at least 3 times after that. He kept redoing numbers, and I literally told him, I was like, you need to get help. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you or what the situation is, but you really need to get some help. Like, leave me alone, please.
What?
Yeah, it was, girl, and it lasted like I'm not gonna lie, probably like a few weeks ago, I had another random number hit me up, and I was like, who is this?
A few weeks
ago? And he sent me his picture, and I was like, oh my God. He's like, please, can you just give me a chance?
No, like,
and I'm
what?
like, this is,
you done called me a bitch and everything?
yes, bitches like you. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. So yeah, that was probably one of the worst dates I've ever been on, from the start to the end. We never even went on our regular date that we're supposed to go on. Like, it was terrible, and then it ended with me with a stalker. So that's great.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was trash.
Yeah, nothing I can say can compare to the experience. I had one more date that was a hell date. I met this guy on like Tinder. Yeah, that's
all she wrote there. No.
That says a lot right there. Met him on Tinder. We went out to eat. And we were like sitting across from each other, and he was just real silent, like staring at me. And I was just like, okay. In this like total silence, he's just like, damn, you got some big ass lips. So I was like,
what you do?
Okay. I was like, wow. Thanks, I guess. He was like, you got some big ass lips. And I was like, I've been looking at them for,
you should have sucked them in.
Over 20 years. So yeah, I know that I have full lips. Thanks. He was like, are you half Hispanic? Are you half this? And I was like,
what does that have to do with it?
And I was like, no, I'm black. He was like, are you sure?
Yeah, I would know.
I'm sure that I'm black and I'm not half Hispanic. It was just like random like insults like that the whole night, like backhanded compliments. You know that like, you pretty for a black girl? That's the kind of like feel it gave off. Or it's like, oh, you must be mixed. Oh, you pretty, so you must be half Hispanic or you must be half white. Like, no. This time I wasn't stupid. Because I didn't see him again after that. I ain't giving no second chances.
No.
That was
backhanded compliments is the worst. Like, if they're like, this is the first date I've been on with a black woman. You're like, yay. Like,
right, like, good for you, I guess. But
what the hell?
Or it's like, I don't usually date black women, but
here we are.
Right, here we are.
God, I hated those dates. They were like the worst.
Yeah.
We definitely have more health stories to give you guys. Dating has not been our best friend the last few years.
Not at all.
At all. I feel like I've just recently, after all this time frame, found someone that I finally feel like I can breathe a little bit better. But up until this point, I don't want to say too much too soon because you never know. I'm gonna be giving y'all an update in a month or two. Devastated.
I'm still out here in these streets, but she's officially no longer a city girl. So
I know.
She graduated from the City Girl Academy.
I did.
I'm still a student. I'll keep y'all updated.
Well, thanks you guys for listening to our podcast again. We appreciate you guys, and if you have any feedback, we don't care. Put that out there. We're doing our best. God damn it. So yeah, thanks again.
Yeah. We'll see you. Why am I waving? We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna pour up a little bit more.